How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is currently running its November savings sale, and typically we look at games under $5, but you know what? There are so many notable deals as a part of this sale. We went one step further. Let's look at games under $4 because there's actually quite a bit to go over. Some lower key titles, you know, maybe a lot of games that a lot of you guys haven't played, but still titles that I would say for this cheap of a price, you know, give it a look, maybe add it to the wish list and pick it up sometime down the line, since you guys know these PSN sales are not stopping anytime soon. But this sale in particular will be ending on November the 18th, so you have a few more days to check it out. But let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Supergiant Games' Bastion, 80% off for $2.99. Look, it's super easy to recommend a Supergiant Games title. Their games are top-notch. Year after year, game after game, whenever they drop a game, it turns out to be really good, and Bastion was their breakout title. I remember when it came out on Xbox 360, and there was a lot of talk around it. I first played it when it was a Steam daily deal back in like 2012, I want to say, and I picked it up for like $3.74 back then. Maybe it was $7.49. Nonetheless, I got my money's worth and then some. This is a game that has just aged so gracefully over the last decade plus. It's got this gorgeous watercolor art style. The narration in the game from a narrative standpoint is also excellent. You have like the storyteller. That person, whoever the voice actor was, did a great job with that. The gameplay isn't blow away by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fine. And all of the other elements, the aesthetics, the story, the narrative, all of those come together really nicely, and it's a really enjoyable game. I would say it's worth the full price of $15, but when you're getting it at $3, yeah, that's an absolute bargain and easy recommendation. Just a slam dunk. Definitely go check out Bastion. It's a game that everybody really does recommend, and I would say at this price point, again, a no-brainer here. Next up, let's just go with the other Supergiant Games title right out the gate, Transistor. Now, I didn't think Transistor was as good as Bastion. Don't get it twisted, though. This is also a very, very slick game. It's got more of a sci-fi thematic setting to it as well. Great soundtrack here, super slick art style with this one as well, and it's got a great gameplay style, quite a bit of depth to it as well. You've got different combinations you can use, and again, the vibrance in this game is so fantastic, and another game that has just aged really well. It's not a super lengthy game, but somewhat replayable as well, and I think for $3.99, look, it's a Supergiant Games title. I don't really need to sell you much more than that on it. It was a PlayStation Plus title way back in the day. I think the day it came out, like it was, the May 2014 or something like that, the PlayStation Plus title for then, but yeah, nonetheless, $4 now, really good pickup there, would give it a shout. Next up, we have Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, 90% off for $3.99. Look, this is definitely a game that is more akin to keyboard and mouse, the PC style controls, but a tactics-based game made a very smooth transition into the DualShock 4 controls. That's what you have with Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. These styles of games aren't really my cup of tea, however, you can tailor the experience how you want to, and the game doesn't have to be supremely difficult. It had a really top-tier reception. I believe it's got like an 85 on Metacritic. Just a really well-made and well-polished tactical strategy title. Has a really cool setting, and if you're into that, you know, Japan Edo period setting, you're gonna be really into the vibe that the game gives, and it's got a solid soundtrack as well. Pretty solid all around, relatively lengthy. You're gonna get your money's worth out of the $4 that you're gonna spend on Shadow Tactics. There is a standalone expansion in Aiko's choice, but you don't have to get that. That you can pick up sometimes down the line, but Blades of the Shogun, 90% off for $4. I think that's a pretty good shout as well. Next up, we have Agents of Mayhem, which is 85% off for $3. Look, let's not get it twisted. Agents of Mayhem is not a great game. It's very much a Volition title in the sense that it's an over-the-top, wacky, zany game that you don't take too seriously. You don't spend $60 on it or $50 on it as well. Now, the MSRP is down to $19.99, but nonetheless, if you want a wacky, over-the-top game that, you know, is going to be very familiar to those of you that have played Volition titles, an open-world, chaotic title, Agents of Mayhem is going to offer you that. Don't expect anything blow away. Expect some sloppiness. Expect the game to be rough around the edges. Expect some, you know, cringy elements to the game as well. I should also note that the game is available through PlayStation Plus Extra, but nonetheless, $3 for that, I think, is a pretty good shout. Next up, we have Cat Quest, 80% off for $2.59. Now, if you want a game that is a complete contrast to, let's say, you're playing Elden Ring or some of the Souls games, you know, Cat Quest is really going to offer you that. If you want more of a cute, chill game, Cat Quest is going to offer you exactly that. It's not a super lengthy game, but it's a super accessible game that anybody can really get into, and it's charming enough where, you know, even if you're an older gamer, you're gonna, like, still have a good time with it for the time that you do spend with it. And if you're looking for a game to get a younger sibling, your kid, whatever the case may be, into video games, I think Cat Quest is a pretty solid option. Now, I would offer you the fact that Cat Quest 2 is also on sale for $4.49, slightly above that $4 price threshold, but that game does offer cooperative play, so if that's something you want to look into, be my guest. Otherwise, $2.59 for Cat Quest, I think, is quite good. Next up, here's a game that I recommend quite often when it is on sale, and that is State of Mind. Now, State of Mind is a game that I remember looking into right before it was coming out, and I was like, man, this is a super trippy game, has a really, really interesting art style that I honestly, not everybody's gonna be into this art style. You look at this game and immediately you can tell whether or not you're gonna vibe with this game. I think it's pretty interesting and pretty unique. Now, it's not an action-oriented game or anything like that. It tries to tackle these mature themes, a futuristic thriller delving into transhumanism. It explores themes of separation, disjuncture, and reunification in a world that is torn between a dystopian material reality and a utopian virtual future. Pretty interesting title, and again, it's not one that you would spend $20 on, but for $1.99, I would say, hey, give it a shot there. Next up, we have Hotline Miami, which is down to $2.50. Now, on the PlayStation Store, on the website, it says not available for purchase. If you go on over to your console, you should be able to buy it, no problem, so just bear that in mind. Hotline Miami is a pretty iconic game at this point, a retro throwback. At the same time, it's so chaotic, so over the top, and it is bloody as all hell. Probably, you know, this is a polar opposite to Cat Quest. That's what I would say about it. A very fast-paced action game, raw brutality, hard-boiled gunplay, and skill-crushing close combat. Had a very, very solid reception, and 85 on Metacritic as well. For $2.49, excellent deal that I would strongly recommend. Hotline Miami 2, I believe, is on sale as well, so go check that out if you're interested. Next up, we have The Pillars of Earth. Now, this isn't a game that I really got into. However, I could see it being something that a lot of you guys get into if you are into more medieval, story-driven choices determining the outcome of the game. 12th century England, in a time of poverty and war, a small town begins the construction of a cathedral to claim wealth and safety for its people in their struggle to survive. Lives and destinies intertwined, based on Ken Follett's world bestseller, The Pillars of the Earth. It's all a super positive reception, 78 on Metacritic as well, $2.99 if you're into story-driven games, something to have a look at there. Next up, definitely want to give a shout to Ruiner, which is an over-the-top cyberpunk action game with a lot of chaotic effects, and it is definitely something that if you're a fan of action shooters, you're gonna be really into. Now, $19.99 was a little bit pricey for this, given that it's not the lengthiest game in the world, but $3.99, I think this is a solid price for a pretty over-the-top action-heavy game with some slick particle effects as well. I'll give it credit for that as well. So check that out. $4, I think, is a good price. And lastly, want to give a shout to Virginia, which is 75% off for $2.49. Now, if you're a fan of trophies, I mean, Virginia is definitely going to offer you that. It's a single-player, first-person thriller, definitely story-driven, and it's more of a walking simulator, so don't expect a lot of, you know, heavy gameplay or anything like that, but narrative's pretty interesting. It's a very short game, but you can get, you know, some trophies out of it, and for the price of $2.49, I thought, hey, why not give it a shout? It is available on Plus Extra as well. And that is going to do it for me. Again, we wanted to delve into games under $4 in this video. This is just a November savings sale. We gotta look at the games under $20 sale. All that stuff is coming. We're trying to juggle Black Friday coverage, early Black Friday coverage, and everything that's going on with the PlayStation Store sales as well. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.